Yo, let's rewind to England in the 1800s. Picture this. The Industrial Revolution is booming. It's all steam engines and factories popping up like mushrooms. But not everyone is stoked. Enter the Luddites. Ned Ludd, these weren't your average dudes with pitchforks. We were skilled textile workers, the OG weavers and knitters. We knew our craft. But then came the machines, replacing our jobs, our livelihoods. Imagine your Instagram getting shut down because robots are now funnier. Yeah, not cool. The Luddites get their name from a dude named Ned Ludd. Legend has it, he smashed a couple of knitting frames back in the day. Whether Ned was real or just a mythical tech-wrecking hero, his name became a symbol of resistance. The Luddites weren't about hating all technology. They weren't trying to send us back to the Stone Age. Ned Ludd. We were skilled workers pushed to the edge, demanding fairness and a chance to earn a living. We were fighting for our right to pay rent, put food on the table, not be replaced by a giant hunk of metal. Relatable, right? The Industrial Revolution was a game changer, no doubt. It brought us amazing inventions. But like a bad Tinder date, it had a dark side. For textile workers, the new machines were like dating app competition, faster, cheaper, and stealing all the gigs. Factory owner before, skilled weavers and knitters were the stars of the show. They produced high-quality goods. It was an art form, really. But machines changed the game. They could churn out fabric faster and cheaper than any human ever could. Imagine a robot writing this essay in like 5 seconds. Factory owners were ecstatic. Profits were soaring. But for the workers, it was a disaster. Their skills were suddenly obsolete. They were replaced by machines that never needed a lunch break or complained about working conditions. The Industrial Revolution created a whole new class of workers, the factory worker. Long hours, low pay, dangerous conditions, factory owner. It was the gig economy of the 19th century and nobody was swiping right. Imagine your job skills becoming as useless as an expired coupon code. That's what happened to the Luddites. Their specialized knowledge of weaving and knitting was no longer needed. Factories were popping up, but they weren't hiring skilled workers. They wanted cheap labor to operate the machines. Textile worker, media, unemployment during Industrial Revolution, workers replaced by machines. Unemployment skyrocketed. Families were struggling to survive. The social safety net back then was basically non-existent. It was either find a job, any job, or starve. Not exactly a recipe for a happy workforce. The Luddites saw their communities crumbling. They saw their families struggling. They saw their skills becoming irrelevant. They were angry, and they had every right to be. They were the victims of a system that prioritized profit over people.
Section 4. Fight the power-smashing machines sending a message.
So what do you do when you're angry, desperate, and the system is rigged against you?
If you're a Luddite, you fight back.
And how do you fight back against machines taking your job?
You break them.
The Luddites weren't mindless vandals.
They targeted the machines that represented their displacement, the symbols of their hardship.
It was a desperate attempt to protect their livelihoods, their communities, their way of life.
They operated in secret, often at night, raiding factories and smashing machines.
They left messages demanding better treatment, fairer wages.
It was a form of protest, a cry for help in a time when workers had no voice.
Their actions were met with fear and outrage by the factory owners and the government.
The Luddites were portrayed as a dangerous mob, a threat to progress and order.
But for many ordinary people, they were heroes, fighting back against an oppressive system.
Section 5. The Empire Strikes Back. Government crackdown on the Luddites.
The British government wasn't about to let a bunch of machine breakers disrupt their Industrial Revolution party.
They responded with the subtlety of a sledgehammer, bringing in the troops, imposing curfews, and making machine breaking punishable by death.
Talk about an overreaction.
Parliament passed the Frame-Breaking Act of 1812, making it a capital offence to destroy textile machinery.
Soldiers were deployed to industrial areas hunting down suspected Luddites.
Trials were swift and punishments were harsh.
The government saw the Luddites as a threat to the established order, a challenge to their authority.
They were determined to crush the movement, to make an example of anyone who dared to resist the march of progress.
The Luddite rebellion was brutally suppressed.
Many were arrested, imprisoned, or transported to penal colonies.
Some were even executed.
The message was clear: don't mess with the machines or else.
Section 6. Echoes in the Age of Robots.
The story of the Luddites is more relevant today than ever.
In an age where automation and artificial intelligence are reshaping the workforce, the fears and frustrations of the Luddites echo through time.
Workers today face similar challenges as technology threatens to displace jobs and disrupt lives.
The Luddite movement reminds us that the struggle for fair treatment and economic justice is ongoing.
It's a call to balance progress with compassion, innovation with humanity.
And perhaps to remember that behind every machine there's a human story worth telling.